Good afternoon, beautiful people, and happy Thursday. Today's story, you will not see it blasted across CNN or MSNBC. A civic group called New York Citizens Audit, led by Marley Hornick, has filed a 52-page civil rights complaint against Letitia James. Yes, the New York Attorney General. They're accusing her office and the State Board of Elections of suppressing election watchdogs, weaponizing state power, and covering up evidence of voter roll fraud. If proven true, this could shake the foundation of how New York runs its election. Let's get into it. Welcome to Nellie Miranda.
Nova with Lindell TV here with Marley Hornick, and we are talking about her big lawsuit that she's announcing against the Board of Elections in New York State and Letitia James for election fraud. Could you tell me more about it?
We're suing them for a conspiracy against civil rights. These pious civil rights advocates have suppressed the speech of New Yorkers. They do not want elections audited. They do not want to answer to the people regarding representation in Congress or anywhere else in New York or the federal government. And they have tried to attack and defame and crush citizens who had hard evidence of illegal election misconduct in Letitia James's own election. So we are suing them for damages, and we are suing to get a comprehensive, external, bonded, certified audit of the entire election process in New York from registration through certification. Because if we don't have legitimate representative government, we don't have a country. So we have to fight this all the way down to the mat with these people. They don't want us to have that.
Thank you so much. Where could people follow the lawsuit?
At on X at Real America Vote and at Marley Hornick. And also realamerica.vote is our website.
Thank you so much, Marley.
Thanks, Kara.
As always, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Okay, so according to the filing, NY Citizens Audit says it uncovered massive irregularities inside NYS Voter, New York's official statewide voter database. They claim more than 2 million extra voter ID numbers, hundreds of thousands of ballots with no corresponding voter record, and even signs of algorithmic manipulation. Now, when the group took its findings to state officials, they say the response wasn't transparency. It was retaliation. So rather than audit the data, the state branded the volunteers as misinformation spreaders. And Letitia James allegedly used her office to launch a criminal probe under the Ku Klux Klan Act, suggesting racial intimidation against a group of retirees and data analysts just asking questions. So the lawsuit lists jaw-dropping numbers, over 1.5 million duplicate IDs in NYS Voter, roughly 436,000 more votes than voters between 2020 and 2024, and voters registered before birth or over the age of 114. Those are not typos. They're straight from the complaint.
Identified inside of the state's official records about the 2022 and 2020 elections, millions and millions of examples of what appear to be felony misconduct according to the United States Department of Justice's guidelines for prosecution of election offenses. What we've discovered is 29 million facially invalid registration records. These states had counted 2 million more votes than they have any record of voters having voted or participated. What we've done is file lawsuits in 9 states. We've filed federal lawsuits against the chief election official and the attorney general of each state, and additionally, the attorney general of the United States of America, Merrick Garland, because our concern is that they are not operating elections in a way that upholds the fundamental right of American citizens to choose representatives.
NYCA even says some election officials admitted records were overwritten after the 2020 vote, a direct violation of federal law requiring records to be preserved for 22 months. Now, instead of dialogue, the Board of Elections sent a statewide memo calling NYCA bad actors. Soon after, Letitia James' office sent a cease and desist letter accusing the group of impersonating election officials and intimidating voters. Claims that the group says were completely fabricated. Within hours, the letter was front page news across New York before NYCA even received it. This was a clear media ambush. This is classic lawfare, the use of state power to intimidate dissent. You question the system? They brand you as a threat to democracy.
The lawsuit we filed in New York is a very unique opportunity based on the work of New York Citizens Audit, another organization I had founded back in 2021, where we did this great voter roll research. So many people contributed, so many devoted Americans played a role in doing this huge research project into New York's election rolls and returns. And we were doing this amazing work all over the state, from Montauk to Buffalo, bringing the reports from our audits to town boards, county legislatures, our state officials, our state reps, and our federal reps. And wouldn't you know it, the Board of Elections didn't take too kindly to their embarrassment statewide at these presentations by citizens. And they started sending very hostile, accusatory, and defamatory letters, calling us malicious, bad actors, liars, deceivers, anti-democratic, and a whole lot of other nonsense that was completely unfounded. They sent those letters all over New York State, so that when the volunteers would take their information and do a presentation in front of the town board would just hold up these letters that they had gotten from the State Board of Elections and say, well, you know, we already know about you guys. We don't have to listen to you because we already know all about you. The Board of Elections told us that you're liars and told us that you don't really know what you're talking about and you haven't really looked at this comprehensively. Unfortunately for the Board of Elections, we had a team of extraordinary, experienced experts in all of the areas we were covering. And so that was not truthful. And the Board of Elections kept saying, well, the problem is no one has ever seen their data, which was kind of fun because, you know, we had told them on numerous occasions when we submitted our comprehensive reports that the data had been theirs. It was their data, and we had simply extracted the problems from it and returned them the problems to resolve line by line. And, you know, it's not my fault that there were 5 million problems. It's their fault.
NYCA's lawsuit leans on the First, Fifth, and 14th Amendments, the right to petition government, to speak freely, and to equal protection under law. They argue that Letitia James and state officials have violated those rights by colluding to silence them. If citizens cannot petition their government about election integrity without being investigated as criminals, then representative government is a facade. This case isn't just about New York. It's about a national pattern, a Democrat attorney general turning her office into a political weapon. We've seen it with Trump cases, with Letitia James' civil suits against Republicans and Christian groups, and now she is targeting ordinary citizens who dare to audit elections, all while screaming that she's the protector of democracy, fighting for your rights.
I also want to thank New Yorkers for showing up in record numbers to the polls to exercise your most basic and sacred democratic right. And lastly, I congratulate the President-elect Donald Trump. And if possible, we will work with his administration. But we will not compromise our values or our integrity or our principles. We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before. We faced this challenge before. And we use the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again. Because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers and the rule of law. And I will not shrink from that responsibility.
She has made it her mission to undermine them, filing one lawsuit after another lawsuit against virtually every move that they make. And in fact, she's suing the administration right now over loss of SNAP benefits caused by the government shutdown. But anyways, if her office loses this lawsuit, it won't just vindicate NY Citizens Audit. It'll send a clear message that First Amendment still means something in this country. Now, the case was filed October 16th, 2025 in the Northern District of New York, and it is likely to set a precedent on how far officials can go in combating misinformation. If the court rules that Letitia James overstepped by branding citizen auditors as criminals, it could redraw the line between government oversight and political censorship. Meanwhile, mainstream media outlets are silent. Not a single New York Times headline, no CNN segment, because the narrative, it just doesn't fit. I literally found this on X. It's a shame. At its core, this isn't just a lawsuit. It is a litmus test for freedom of speech and election accountability in America. If a citizen group can be smeared, threatened, and criminally investigated for demanding accurate voter rolls, then our system has drifted far, far, far from Madison's vision of self-government. Now, do you believe this lawsuit could expose a pattern of political retaliation by Democrat AGs nationwide? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll keep you posted as this case unfolds in federal courts. And if you want to read the actual lawsuit by yourself, I've linked it below. Happy reading. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.